Next morning, the Secret Seven met again very promptly. The password was muttered 5 times to Peter and Janet in the shed, and 5 times Scamper barked a welcome. "Well," said Peter when the door was shut and they were all sitting in a circle in the dark little shed. "Any news to report, Jack?" "Not much," said Jack. "I asked my mother about Bartlett Lodge, and she said the owners have gone abroad for a year, and they left the keys at their bank. Mother said no one is allowed to go into the house except by permission of the bank." "Really?" said Peter. "Not to clean or anything?" "I asked her that," said Jack, "and she said no, not even to clean. She said that Alice, a woman who comes to do some cleaning each week, went in and cleaned it thoroughly top to bottom before it was locked up." "Ah, then what about asking Alice if she left the fire on?" said Peter at once. "Couldn't you ask her that, Jack? Could you talk about the house and then sort of lead round to gas fires and electric lights and so on?" "Well, I don't mind trying," said Jack. "But wait a bit. No, I can't. She's broken her arm and isn't coming for a bit." "Bother," said Peter. "Now, how can we get round that?" Everyone thought hard. "Why can't you go and ask her how she is, and take her some sweets or something?" said Janet at last. "When our old Nanny is ill, we always pop round with a little present." "All right," said Jack, feeling that he was being asked to do rather a lot. "Anyway, why don't you all come with me? It would be easier then. She's seen most of you." "Perhaps on the whole it might make things easier if we did all go," said Peter, considering. "We could tell her about the aeroplane going into the garden. That would introduce the subject, so to speak. But we wouldn't say anything about climbing up to the balcony, of course." "Gosh, no," said Jack, horrified. "She might tell my mother, and I'm sure I'd get into a row if she thought we'd gone there and climbed up like that." "Well, what about going straight away?" said Peter, who liked doing things at once. "Anyone got any money to buy sweets or something? We could buy her peppermints." "Oh, yes, Alice likes peppermints," said Jack. "That's a good idea. Come on, let's go. It's a lovely sunny afternoon, and I've had enough of this shed." So they all went out to buy the peppermints, and were given quite a lot for 50 pence. Off they went to the little cottage down Greene Lane where Alice lived. She was very pleased indeed to see them. "Well, there now, it's a treat to see your smiling faces," she said, "and you're just in time to have one of my bits of gingerbread. As sticky as can be it is, and I know Jack likes that." The children felt that Alice was giving them as much a treat as they hoped to give her with the peppermints. She was, however, so delighted with their unexpected gift that they couldn't help feeling pleased. "And what have you been doing, you and Susie, since I broke my arm?" she said to Jack. "Into mischief again, I'll be bound. And have you worn your cowboy suit yet?" This was a wonderful opening for what they wanted to say. Jack plunged in at once. "Oh, yes, and we've flown that lovely aeroplane that Susie got. And will you believe it? It flew right over the wall into Bartlett Lodge." "Did it now? Well, that's the house belonging to the Hall," said Alice, offering the tin of gingerbread round generously. "I cleaned it down from top to bottom after they went. My, that was a job." "Did you have to draw all the curtains?" asked Peter. "We noticed they were drawn." "Yes, I drew them all," said Alice. "The house looked so dark and dreary then that I was glad to lock it up and leave it behind me." "I suppose you had to turn off the electricity and water and gas," said Janet, feeling rather clever. "Oh, yes, I turned everything off," said Alice. "So, if any of you are thinking of moving in there, you'll have to get me to come and turn things on again for you." Everyone laughed heartily at this little joke, and Peter looked triumphantly at Jack as he too laughed. So the gas had been turned off, had it? Then how did that gas fire come to be burning there up in the balcony room? Well, they had learnt quite a bit from Alice. "Isn't there anyone there?" asked Jack. "Nobody at all. It's all locked up now. I tell you, I locked every window and door myself," said Alice. "The only person who goes there is old Georgie Grim, the gardener. And a good name he's got too, grim by name and grim by nature. But he's honest, I'll say that for him. Have another piece of gingerbread, Jack?" "No thanks," said Jack. "We must be getting off. I hope your arm will soon be all right, Alice. Goodbye. See you soon again, I hope." And with that, the Secret Seven marched off, feeling that they had done quite a good half-hour's work.